If you are serious about becoming a complete martial artist, one of the crucial steps is to develop some sort of breathing routine so you can become a master of your breath. Luckily, I've already created a routine for you. This particular routine was crucial in the preparation and execution of my recent World Championship. The story I'll save for the end of the video. In the meantime, stick around. I'm going to teach you how to expand your lungs, get nice deep breaths. I'm going to teach you how to prime your body for a fight. And I'm going to teach you how to step up your cardiovascular efficiency to the next level. All right, let's get to it. The first thing you want to learn is how to breathe into different areas of your body. This may take a little bit of concentration. Most people naturally breathe into their chest and shoulders, but we're going to start with belly breathing. The way I'm going to do this, I'm going to place my hands on my stomach and I'm going to try to expand my lungs downward and outward, trying to give that pregnant belly effect and try to expand the lungs and belly into my hands. From the side. Now notice when I'm doing this belly breathing, my shoulders are not rising much. That's the goal here. I want to keep center of gravity low and I want to breathe down and out. That's what I'm thinking about. Now belly breathing is, first off, it's the basis of most meditative practices. So learning how to belly breathe will help slow your mind and bring you into the presence, as well as helping you to expand to get the fullest lung possible. And it's also very helpful for any fighters out there, especially in a grappling scenario. If you got someone pinning their weight up on your chest and you're only used to chest breathing, this can be a problem. So being able to expand your lungs into a different area of your body, such as your belly, will allow you to maintain a full breath, which will allow you to stay calm under pressure. So when doing the belly breathing, I usually do anywhere from 5 to 10 times, and usually I will expand outward for about 5 seconds, and then I will exhale for about 5 seconds. Whenever you're doing the exhale, make sure to use your core muscles to push all the air out of your lungs as much as possible. Now you can breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, which is the traditional thing. If you're stuffed up, just use your mouth, that's no problem. So belly breathing, 5 to 10 times. Make sure to push all that air out. Next, you want to go up to the diaphragm level. So this is about where your ribs cross in the front. Diaphragm is the main breathing muscle. And the way that I'm going to test that I'm breathing at the right level is I'm going to put my fingertips together after having exhaled. And I'm going to use that as a marker, and I'm going to try to expand my rib cage outward and wide. So you can watch my fingers separate as I inhale. Remember, use those core muscles to push the air out. That's very important. So after you've done the belly breathing 5 to 10 times, and you've done the diaphragm level breathing 5 to 10 times, I'm going to move up to the chest. For the chest, I'm going to place my hands up here about sternum height. Once again, I'm going to put my fingertips together so I can test the expansion of that chest cavity, and I'm going to think about breathing forward, upward, and outward, trying to spread that rib cage. Being able to breathe in the chest is important. Also in a grappling scenario, if they pin their weight lower on your body, they've got a full mount, for example. Sometimes it's hard to breathe if you only know how to belly breathe. So being able to expand in an area that is free is important. Now, a lot of people know how to breathe into the belly, the diaphragm, and the chest, but many people don't know that they can also breathe into the back. So the way we're gonna practice this, I'm gonna cross my hands, I'm gonna give myself a little hunch, and I'm gonna try to expand my spine and my rib cage backwards and outward. Once again, I do this 5 to 10 times depending on how much time I've got. Now this next one I do because it just feels awesome. Spread my feet a bit, throw one hand over the top, and I'm gonna breathe into these side ribs. Both sides, of course. Once again, 5 to 10 times, left and right. Now, being able to breathe into your back and those back ribs is really important in fight sports, especially for striking arts, because you can learn to keep your core engaged and ready for body shots, and you can actually breathe backwards, so that way you're not going to get caught at the wrong moment on the exhale and just get dropped to the body shot, right? Once I've learned how to breathe into my belly, breathe into my diaphragm, breathe into my chest, and breathe backwards and sideways into my rib cage, I'm going to practice taking the fullest breath possible, and I'm going to do this with what I call a Tai Chi breath. So I'm going to have a nice balanced stance, good posture, and I'm going to expand starting from the belly up to the diaphragm, up to the chest, and I'm also going to be expanding those ribs up and out to the back, but I'm going to keep good posture rather than hunching as before. Now, as I inhale, I think about extending my spine upward as if I've got a sky hook dropping down from the heavens, hooking my head and pulling me upward. As I exhale, I'm going to settle my weight and imagine growing roots into the ground to just reach down as far as possible. So this Tai Chi breath, I generally do for 4 sets of 5 to 10 each, with that same breathing count. The first one, I'm gonna call circular breathing, almost like a yin yang symbol. So I'm inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. In this case, 5 seconds each. Try to expand more with each breath. Now, after you've done this circular breathing, I'm going to do what I call pyramid breathing. So I'm going to inhale, exhale, and hold with empty lungs. So it's going to be 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds. And these are all just rough numbers. Go off your feel, right? So. And so on. All right, for this next one, I'm going to call this funnel breathing. It's basically the same shape as the pyramid, just upside down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to inhale, hold, exhale. Inhale, hold, exhale. Remember to try to squeeze every drop of air out of your lungs. Now, for the 4th set, I'm going to call this box breathing. I'm going to inhale, hold, exhale, hold, and so on. That's the basic routine. So I start with belly breathing, diaphragm breathing, chest breathing, back breathing, side rib breathing. So I do those 5 to 10 times each. Then I do 4 sets of the full body Tai Chi style breathing, starting with the circular breathing, followed by the pyramid breathing, followed by the funnel breathing, followed by the box breathing. Now I do this before any difficult workout. I do this before any competition. It usually takes me about 10 minutes or so to practice, and it's also a great thing to do to bring yourself to the present moment, to prepare yourself for a meditation session, which is wonderful. What I love so much about this routine is that by pre-expanding my lungs, it helps remind me to take full deep breaths whenever I'm doing exercise or competition that requires a lot of exertion, and it reminds me to take full breaths so I'm not hyperventilating, I'm not shortchanging myself there at all, right? And what I've noticed, need to do more research on this to be precise, but when I do this breathing routine, usually my lungs are open for a couple of hours. So it was crucial, like I said, in my recent world championship competition, because if you've ever been to any martial arts competition, you know that the organization is not always the greatest, right? So in my first fight in this tournament, they had the brackets all laid out. They had it on a app for everyone to see. They're keeping track of the time and everything. And they had me estimated at, I think I was supposed to compete at 1 p.m., something like that. So trying to time my warm up, trying to time my food and my snacks and my hydration and all that. But this is not the first time I've been at one of these competitions. I know things don't go right or don't always go the way they're supposed to. So I did my breathing routine well ahead of time. Even though I was supposed to compete around 1, I did my breathing routine around 12, and guess what? Right about 12 o'clock, they decided to flip the brackets without warning me and threw me into my first match with no time to warm up whatsoever. So obviously not the funnest thing, but I was prepared for this because my lungs and my heart were already ready to go. So this crucial step was huge in my success on that first match, and also just learning how to breathe properly helps keep your mind calm in stressful situations as well. So that's something to keep in mind. So as you all get to know me, one of the things you'll learn is that I'm never going to suggest a product or a technique or anything like that to you unless it's something that I really believe in and it's something that I've tested out myself. Now, along those lines, if you want to take your breathing to the next level, I suggest picking up one of these handy little O2 trainers designed by Boss Rudin. He's got his whole spiel on why this is important. Basically what it boils down to is it's like weight training for your diaphragm. So what you do is you change these little tips. They all have different sizes, different size holes in which you can inhale. And the point is that week by week, you practice breathing through this little thing and pulling air through these tiny holes, and it strains your diaphragm to the point where it has to get stronger to inhale and get a full breath, right? So as you get better, you keep adjusting this stuff and you make the hole smaller and smaller. It's like breathing through a straw, more or less, but this stuff is no joke. By the time I got to the highest number, which for this model is 14, it's basically just a little pinhole poked by a needle. So pulling air in through this is quite difficult. I find that this helps me maintain my cardio capacity, even if I'm not doing consistent running and stationary bike work and that sort of thing. So this is not only a good device to have in general to help step up your breathing game, but it's also wonderful if you're the type like me that travels a lot and you don't always have access to a gym, you don't always have access to your shoes and a road to go running, you don't always have access to good weather. This is something that's small and you can bring with you anywhere you go and keep those lungs strong, keep that diaphragm strong, and really I honestly couldn't suggest it more. If you're the type that has trouble breathing, this might also be a good option for you because you can combat the deficiency by competing with strength, right? So that's a big philosophy of mine, is that when there's pain, you try to overcome the pain with strength. Now, I'm not talking about fighting through the pain. That can be stupid sometimes, but learning how to strengthen yourself is sometimes the greatest way to overcome pain. So this would be a prime example of that. If you're interested in checking this out, I'm going to throw a link down below which will take you over to Amazon. You can purchase one there. I think he's got his own website. You can do it there. Totally up to you, but couldn't suggest it more. Taking the time to become a master of your breath is something that takes patience, something that takes consistency, and something that takes discipline. So if that's you, give yourself a pat on the back, because you're going places. People like you and I, we know what it takes to become the best versions of ourselves. Now along those lines, now that we know how to fill our lungs, let's put all that air to use and become the most explosive version of ourselves possible. Check out the video up top, see what I mean.